Oh man, I wish I had gotten that. Ashley was dancing in front of the thing. I'm back. Just got done eating sushi. Oh, I haven't had sushi in 4 months. It's probably the longest I've ever gone without it. Part of the reason I stopped eating because it was so high in sodium. But once in a while, I guess anyone could probably have it. Soy sauce is just not doesn't fare well with sodium intake. So she's outside smoking a cigarette. Uh, mm. Thirsty. Oh. I'll flip it around so you guys can see where we're just sitting in the parking lot. You can see where the windows were cleaned but streaked. So now she's coming in.
I knew it wasn't that way. That's why I did that.
Oh, I could have flipped it in a second,
I was watching you.
Yeah, well, you can swipe. I think let me see if I can do it here. No, we can't do it on camera. I can just swipe it and it'll turn around. No comments yet. I was thinking about taking the interstate, but I don't think it's a good idea because I don't want to talk while I'm driving 75, 80 miles an hour.
No, you don't have to worry about as many people.
It's true. It is true.
My toes are cold.
My stomach feels like it's getting more full.
Oh, that's because it's settling.
Yeah. Alright, well, I haven't been on the interstate in a while. I guess we're going. At least half the way. The annoying half. You guys will get to see a different part of Venice. Well, not much of it, but there's looks like a 57 DeSoto. It's right turn only and it's curved to the left. I don't get that. Right.
What's this road?
Center. Yeah. Center Road does not go through the center of town, oddly enough. Never tell you my dad's favorite car that he wants to get, but he knows it's not well priced and it's just a gimmick is the Honda Element.
Yeah.
They're like 10 years old with 100,000 miles and they still won like $6,000 or $7,000 for them. They weren't that expensive when they were new. I mean, they weren't as expensive. They weren't like $35,000, $40,000 vehicles, which is what you expect for the vehicle that, I don't know. All right, do I have comments disabled again? Hold on. There we go. I'm sorry. I'm in Venice. I'm here, guys. Don't leave. I'm here. I see you guys now. Hardiest palms for South Florida? Well, I mean, the hardiest palms for South Florida are going to also be the hardiest palms for... Are you saying that are good to grow in South Florida that are also hardy, like good in the... Hold on, let me go to the beginning. What's up? Hey, veg sushi is my favorite. Yeah, we had... let's see, we both got... What was that? Dragon?
I don't know. I think so.
It was a fried roll with crab salad on top, and then like spicy crab, and then I got a Godzilla. Did I get a Godzilla? No.
Yes.
I got a Godzilla roll.
And I got a little.
And you got a sexy roll.
Or sexy roll.
So nothing like too intricate, pretty, ornate, but I had $36 off. I could not turn that down. So anyway, so yeah, I'm in Venice now. I'm gonna be taking the highway, which maybe you guys might see a few different things I normally do. So James, about the thing about rooting one out of a pot before you plant to another. It's a good question. Usually, I would say yes. There are some exceptions. If you think your soil's bad, get it out of there. If it's a slow-growing palm, the soil might decompose before it's ready for a new pot. So you might actually want to repot it in the same size pot. That happens a lot with cycads, in fact. People use soil that is just too decomposed. Excuse me. And then
We should have got drinks to go.
Drinks to go?
Yeah.
Like what kind of drinks?
Water or soda to go.
I got water right here.
That's disgusting.
It's not disgusting. You're disgusting. Why, are you thirsty? But yeah, most time, the thing is, certain palms like to be root bound and will put out more foliage if you keep them root bound, and certain palms will just start to stunt. Usually the subtropical palms tend to do better when they are actually root bound, like Dipsis, palms like that. Real tropical stuff like Vechias don't like being root bound. So what's going on there? Is that a car accident?
I don't know.
So yeah, but for the most part, yeah, you want to wait till you see roots coming out of at least one or two of the drain holes. So, all right. Let's see here. Hardiest palms for South Florida. Well, real palms that do really well down here, like bottles, spindles, Auricas, the Florida thatch, the Renex radiata. A lot of all the Copernicias are good to go. Royals, obviously, some of the best. The palms you'll rarely see in bad shape. Some palms that you think would be a good idea for South Florida, but because of the nature of the rock, they really require a lot of fertilizer to really look their best. They're like foxtails, even adenidias. They do require a little bit of holding their hand, so to speak. Sables and landscaping, great trunks. Usually, sables will have a more tan trunk when the thatching has been freshly cut off. They will have more of a gray trunk when they have been sitting out and weathered a little bit. So a lot of them have kind of just been out. I think you'll find a little bit of both. So I'm surprised there's no lights on here. They have security here at night. I don't know where it is. Avozilla. I've actually never heard of that. So I can't imagine I would be the best person. I'll ask my buddy at Fruitscapes about it, though. This is Venice Avenue here, the main drag. It's a double lane roundabout, and people are terrible here. This is where a lot of accidents happen. Most Americans don't understand the concept of a roundabout, or at least people that live here. This is a very small road when I first moved here. So, Christmas palms actually grow in mostly shade in habitat. They're actually, because they're small and they grow in the rainforest in the Philippines, they're actually naturally shade lovers. In fact, one of the best looking adenidias and biggest ones I've ever seen in Florida is actually at Fairchild. It's about 30 feet overall height, but it curves all around underneath around this oak. Pretty cool looking. All right. Is Punta Gorda a nice place to live? Yeah, I think it's actually underrated. You know, you got a lot of like boating and fishing, and a lot of like Port Charlotte and Northport really don't have much waterfront. Port Charlotte does a little bit, but Punta Gorda has a better climate than Port Charlotte is for growing palms. It's that river just really helps the climate by just a few degrees, and it has that small town feel about it. Port Charlotte doesn't have like any sort of town feel. It just feels like you're driving through just miles and miles of mall. There's nothing but malls. There's no downtown. Punta Gorda has a lot of cool restaurants. So, medium-sized crown-shafted palm, which can handle mostly shade. I would use. Let's see. You know, there aren't a lot of like dwarf ones, but if you use something like, you know, if they're as far as like thickness, like a lot of the dipsis, like Cabata, Pembana, Areca Catechu is a good one if you live in a warm enough climate. Arcanto Phoenix is also a good medium-sized palm, crown-shafted palm. So we're heading south on 75 here. Venice is 193, and our exit is 158 or 161, depending on how you want to go. But Cape Coral actually has exits ranging from 161, 158 all the way to 131 because of the way Cape Coral is not near the interstate, so you kind of have like multiple ways to kind of like spider in, I guess is the best way to put it. So you got here avocado the size of a watermelon. I'm pretty interested about this now because I love avocados. Same side seas as normal from South Africa. Interesting. Hey Chris, what's going on? Brian, with the community pod of Sables, I think that what you want to do is take the compot because they're going to be probably entangled, and knock any soil that's kind of like loose out from the bottom and make sure it doesn't tip over. Then you want to get a bucket of water and soak it in the water, and then try and start pulling them apart from one another without trying to like rip or tear, and that'll kind of loosen the roots up. They should transplant well if you do that. So, what do you think about Inglewood in this climate? That's a good question. Not a lot of people would know about Inglewood's climate. Inglewood has an interesting climate. If you head south from Venice, it's actually a cold spot. Where all the videos of me doing the cycad stuff and some of the Becario Phoenix, Fenestralis. If you see me in like my friend Michael's yard, I think Michael was on one of the videos. That's in Inglewood, and it actually is like a cold sink because the elevation is not very high. So, but if you get further south, it gets a little bit warmer. There's plenty of coconuts down there. That whole peninsula is decent, stays about as warm as Venice does. Maybe a little bit warmer. I'd say it's a zone 10 for sure. Definitely Google it, just not right now because it'd be a terrible bad idea. Oh, here we go. Is Adelaide Calinda bigger than a coconut? Yes, it is. It's probably, the trunk is much bigger and the crown is definitely bigger as well. I've never grown Jubea because Jubeas do not grow here. I've had people tell me, oh, grow them from seed and they'll do okay in your climate, but that's just not the case, unfortunately. Jubea is one palm that I've never grown, actually. Not even from seed. Not didn't try it. I might have been given one. I can't remember. I don't know what it is, but I just feel like it's not that good. Yeah, it is kind of a fancy coconut. It's definitely a cool plant for sure. I think Jubeas are awesome. I wish I could grow them, but I just don't have the climate for it. I don't see a lot of Becario Phoenix alfredi around. I don't think it's really caught on. I think it should have caught on even a while back, but it has not. Yeah, even in Miami Beach, Pseudostaches, people will grow it for like 5-10 years, but it's just, the bigger it gets, the more worried you're going to get about it. They died all the way down to Marathon in 2010. To give you an idea of just how cold sensitive they are. I don't know what it is. I just feel very like sleepy. Second person tonight to ask me about Donald Trump. I can't get into politics on the stream. Sorry, guys.
I won't.
Oh, no, you're not going to either. Coconuts are kind of used to being root bound because they usually grow in like sandy, rocky areas. I don't know if they like it, but they don't mind it. I know you're saying we're like no politics. I'm escaping from politics here. Get off at the Toledo Blade.
Why?
I don't know. It's like I'm going into this like Sushi Coma.
I think you should get off at
Jones Loop. yes, I have been to Southeast Texas. I've been to Corpus Christi and Brownsville. My stomach just doesn't feel that good.
Get off if you need to.
Give me a second. So I'm just trying to figure out if I should get off this exit. What do you think? What should I do?
It's up to you. You can either push through
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I know nothing about the Hyophorme americalis. It's as far as I know, it's going to be solitary for quite some time. So I wish I could tell you more about that. I don't know if anyone here really even knows much about it. My stomach just doesn't feel good. What do you think?
It's up to you.
I'll just keep on going. Yeah, I've seen coconuts in Corpus Christi. I'm sorry, in actually in Brownsville. I wish that this thing would just. Oh, I see some air.
Put the AC on.
Sorry, guys, I just feel a little bit off.
Drive
What do you do? Pull over on the side of the highway?
if you need to.
Okay, alright. Hey, Bob. Yeah, I actually lived in Richmond for 10 years. I am familiar with the area. You from like Petersburg, Chesterfield County area, Colonial Heights. Yeah, I'd say Corpus Christi and Brownsville. I'd say Brownsville has almost like identical climate to Tampa. Chesterfield County. Yeah, I had a lot of friends. I don't know if you know the high schools around there, but I went to St. Christopher's School. Oh, really? So across like the river. I lived way out in Shore Pump, and then we moved into like Grove Avenue. If you know Windsor Farms, I lived in Windsor Farms. Yeah, I lived right there, right. Lidocarium probably grows a little bit slower than a Robolini. Yeah, it was fun. I jumped in the James River once in the Kanawha Canal and got impetigo. Of all times, I actually was on a trip in Europe and there's bacterial infection on my face. It was pretty disgusting, actually. Yeah, it's interesting how that climate changes just south of the river. But it's a cool little area. You know, I would hang out with friends in Midlothian. What's the point? Oh, Brandermill. Yeah, I had a lot of friends that lived in Brandermill. Tuckahoe, yeah? Okay, so you're in Tuckahoe. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's just a little bit further west than where I first moved to Richmond and Barrington in 19... I don't know if you know Barrington Bridge Place. It's in Short Pump, but used to go... My dad really wasn't a... We belonged to Hermitage, and we'd go out there Mannequin Sabbath, so we would drive through Tuckahoe a lot. We belonged to Tuckahoe something, I don't remember. Oh, Tuckahoe was where the snow was. That would make sense. I mean, it doesn't have that urban island effect that probably all the snow would stick to the ground, unlike in downtown Richmond. Like when I used to live there, you know, Shockoe Bottom was a dangerous place. Shockoe Slip was kind of just like, you know, on the verge of, you know, rough. You know, the only time I go to Shockoe Bottom was to go to the flood zone, go see Dave Matthews play. But yeah, I know that there's a windmill, there's an old windmill from Richmond from like the 40s. It should still be there. I have seen Dipson's Menandrensis in Florida. I've seen many of them. Big ones are hard to find. I've had a 7-gallon, but I've never had. And a client of mine had a 30-gallon. It's pretty amazing looking. Yeah, windmills are probably a little bit, you know, sparse there. The climate is kind of borderline, especially like north and west of town. Yeah, Dylan, Reclamata is a good landscape palm, but it's very thorny and there's a lot of things that can go wrong. A lot of trimming, Ganoderma. That's really weird, Bob. I can't believe someone, of all things, that neighborhood, those HOAs can be pretty brutal. I'd be very upset about that. Get off at Harbor View. It's a little jog down. Just I'm having a hard time focusing on this and the road, as bad as that sounds. Okay, so Chris, the reason you don't see Carpoxylon more often is it seems to suffer from this fungal issue that it's kind of hard to explain. And like if its roots get chopped up, like the whole plant just dies, and yeah, it's hard for me to do both things. ones will do okay, but they still have the problem issue with rotting. That's why I don't see mature ones. My friend Ken has them, and he's kind of nervous about moving them and putting them on the landscape because of just, if he plants them and they die, he's got to replace them. So, like, for every one that he plants, he has to kind of have, like, a backup. So as far as the types of palms that escape cultivation, I've seen Livistona chinensis, the Chinese fan, Phoenix reclinata. What else is escape cultivation? Queens, Washingtonias, some coconuts, some royals, which really doesn't count. I've seen some Copernicia alba actually escape. It's kind of weird. I drank enough water eating that sushi. This kind of gave me like a headache. I mean, the sushi was good. Don't get me wrong. It was. I have every reason to believe it's good quality. It's like all the energy just got drained out. Maybe just because of the, like I said, a Sushi Coma. I was kind of joking about it. LBC in the house. That's so funny. I think only a certain demographic of people from like 30 to 45 really like actually get that. It's actually pretty funny. Hold on a sec, guys. Give me one. Certain areas of the highway I just want to focus on. Obviously, bridge being one of them. We're doing 75. I have to be a little bit more careful about looking at the screen. Ashley's passed out drunk on sushi.
You're not passed out.
LBC. Does Robolini grow suckers? The true Phoenix Robolini does grow suckers. But the one you know is Phoenix Robolini does not. What's the Sushi Coma title about? Yeah, we had so much that we had to take some home. I had my sister got me a Groupon for $36 off sushi at this place. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Kumo, but it's pretty good. It's a franchise, but it's not that big. It's like 5 or 6 restaurants throughout Southwest Florida, and they're family owned. It isn't like P.F. Chang's. I've actually never been to P.F. Chang's. I don't know. I have a problem with the rest. I know restaurants just reheating frozen food. I'm not really interested in eating there. I'd rather just reheat my own frozen food, but I understand why people go there. It's like a social place. Like, I don't want to sound like a snob or anything, but I don't really like going to Applebee's or Chili's or TGI Fridays because, I mean, I'll go there. I'm not like, don't think I'm like too good to go there or anything. Just, I'm not going to be like, well, if I have a choice between like a mom and pop restaurant and a franchise, I'm always going to choose the mom and pop. So, what's the best medium to germinate seeds? My opinion, I like long fibered orchid moss. You can get it at Lowe's or Home Depot in a small brick. I buy the 5 kilo brick because that's how I buy my materials by the kilo. What's up, my boy? Just hanging out in that in the PGI, Punta Gorda Isles. I gotta go to the LBC sometime. So Yeah, I've never done this on the highway, so I'm like a little bit hesitant to, you know, I mean the speed limit in Florida and highways is 70, unless you're in a city. So when I'd rather focus on the road. So if I'm staring at the road and trying to answer a question, I might just kind of like go distant. So I will, man. I watch so many shows that take place in Southern California. You guys probably wouldn't believe this, but I'm actually probably my favorite celebrity is Gordon Ramsay, even though I don't even know how to cook. So anyway, yeah, it's just I guess I got tired right as I kind of got in the highway, and focusing wasn't a whole lot of fun. So I'm okay. So Brian, Churro Bellini. I'm gonna get off here. Jones Loop. So this is exit 161. As you can see, if you go all of this will end at Miami at 0 miles. It'll dump right into the Palmetto Expressway. So True Robolini is going to be the thing is it's kind of difficult to say, because a true Robolini is what there's a poem called Phoenix Paludosa, which basically means Phoenix of the Swamp, and Paludosa is definite clumper, and Robolini is kind of like a smaller, daintier plant, and the one that's been kind of like bred as Robolini, I just don't know how can't I go through here? I can take a left down here. Yeah.
Why don't you just take a burn store?
So I was going to show them 41. I guess it's probably not. Bird store is probably better. But anyway, yeah, so to finish that, essentially somehow they were able to stabilize a solitary version of Robolini, and that's what's now considered Robolini, but that's going to be hard to find in habitat. It's kind of like finding a special version of a palm and then only taking that version of the palm into cultivation. I think that within like another 100 years, that you're going to find very few pure Phoenix are left. The cheapest palms is so the cheapest palms you can buy are definitely excuse me, Washingtonias. They're like $5 a foot field grown, so you can get a 20-foot Washingtonia for $100 wholesale plus shipping. But if you buy them at a big box store, you can get a 3-gallon for $19.99. Although if you go to a wholesale nursery, you'll probably get them for $5. So yeah, there's no pure Vicia, at least in that what I call there's like big Vicias and small Vicias. So the big Vicias are Winnin, Joannis, Iracina, Montgomeryana, and then Iracina and Montgomeryana are kind of the same thing, and Winnin and Joannis are very similar too, but they all hybridize with each other. Then you have the small Vicias. They're a little more colorful, don't like full sun. They're more like Adenidias or Techospermas. And that's Vicia Matidi and Vicia Folifera. So we got the green too. Well, I'm gonna make that. Here we go. Through the railroad tracks, through the woods. Oh boy. Oh, thank God I bought those drag radials. Yeah, so if you want to go cheap, you can get the Camanduria, Cataractarum, the cat palm. That's usually pretty cheap, like $6. I had someone trying to sell me cat palms for $7, $1 a gallon, $7 for a 7-gallon. That's how hard it was for them to sell them. So. So now we're back. I don't know if you guys can recognize where I am, but this is the road we go on. So I totally went away from 41. Yes, Ryan, I actually use it quite a bit, and I should do a video. I have one video on what I've been doing with my palm seeds. Uh, what are you using as a medium for germinating your baggy method? And also, what seeds are you trying to use? Are they fresh? Are they cleaned? That'll all be a difference on how much issues you'll have with rot. I think I got wasabi on my nose. It's burning a little bit. Like I just rubbed it all in my nose too. Peep and perlite. Okay. So the thing about the date seeds is this guy. So the thing about using peat is that it holds a lot of moisture, and it can also take in a lot of organic. It does attract. It can attract fungus and bacteria in an enclosed environment. So I would recommend going to moss, to orchid moss or perlite. Trying something inorganic. You can try vermiculite too, which is basically expanded lava rock. So is perlite, but orchid moss is a little bit more. It just is. It'll really, if something rots in the orchid moss, then it was no good. So we're trying a few weeks for some time. Any recommendations? I mean, I have some palms if you want to come down to Cape Coral. I don't have a lot. I don't have anything common. I've got some little palms, but I can try and help you source if you're just looking for some common stuff. I'd recommend going to Pine Island if you want some common palms that are decent size, Dylan. I don't recommend going to Home Depot though. I think that Home Depot and Lowe's are good with certain things, but they're basically, it is a method for the wholesale nurseries to offer their plants for retail sale, and Home Depot just rents them the space. Essentially what happens. So yeah, orchid moss is like the best thing you could use. It's expensive. When I buy a 5-kilo bale, last time it cost me $55. I'm starting to run out. So you can probably get it on Amazon, like a decent sized amount of it for not a bad price. Yeah, Dylan. I mean, if you want to come, down to the Cape Coral area, I can see if I can't help you out there. I got a few palms that I want to part with that wouldn't be too expensive, and it should be good for Port Charlotte. You can actually reuse it if you want to. I would just soak it in some water, let it dry out completely, kind of wash out any of the material from the previous seed. I have actually received palms from people in orchid moss, throw them in a bucket of orchid moss that I keep, and just reuse it. So it's very reusable too. Okay, Dylan, sounds good. Yeah, pure perlite works too. I still have a ton of those perlite bins. I don't use them anymore, but I probably should. The downside is perlite can be hard to break apart when it's wet and it's like full, but it still works pretty well. If you have a root bound seed, like germinated seed, then it's kind of a pain. I actually had Ashley. How many seedlings did you pick out? 300 or germinated seed? 200, 250 actually, with another. You know what? I might even continue this. I'm gonna do a vlog on it. Our house is way too messy for me to bring a live stream into. We have too many things lying around, moving furniture around. Surprised I actually ate 2 full orders of sushi. Yeah, orchid moss is something that you'll come. It's a little trick of the trade. I'll show you guys. Maybe I'll do a little vlog on it tonight. I need to upload the other vlog too. Do it, he says. Well, let me see what I can do. Let me see. I might show you guys real quickly. The problem is that like we still have our Christmas tree up, which is kind of embarrassing. Oh, we don't? Okay.
I took that down over a week ago.
Okay, you took it down. I get it. So mad. I'm sorry to wake you from your sushi coma.
I'm not sleeping.
I thought we still had our Christmas tree up. BL, how you doing? Phoenix reclinata is native to West Africa. It's called the Senegal date palm, so it's named to like Senegal, Gambia, like Liberia, probably into Mauritania, Mali, that area, and along the coast there, so you got Guinea-Bissau, Benin, Togo, all the way basically through Nigeria. I would imagine it grows pretty much all throughout like West and Central Africa. BL, where are you from? I don't think I've seen you on the stream before. Oh. I do have experience in the Rica Vestiaria. Should I show them the place?
What, ours?
No. What's going on here? Is this fog?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's that?
What place?
Oh, man. Hold on. We're gonna make a quick... Oh, no! What the fuck is this? Okay, then. I thought that was a... Well... What? Uh-oh. Well, at least someone else got pulled over, so there was a cop hiding out there. Let me tell you guys something. I respect the profession of the police, and I understand it's a very hard job. I've been pulled over a lot in my life. I don't want to get pulled over again. When I get pulled over at 3 in the morning for window tint, that's perfectly fine, and from the factory, or from the dealer. What is so funny? Oh, she's laughing because she remembers. I got pulled. Sorry, I'll get back to the palms in a second. But I got pulled over at 3:30 in the morning after going to the bar. I actually drank I drank 2 beers like 5 hours before. He pulls me over and he's like, "Oh, you were driving erratic, and your windows look way too tinted." I'm like, "Okay, well, they were tinted from the dealer, which they can't legally tint the windows, and I was not driving erratic. I'm probably more sober than you are, sir." And he's like, he asked me like, "Do I know you?" I'm like, "What do you mean, do you know me?" Like, he said, "No, not because I've arrested you before, but like, do I know you personally?" I'm like, "No, like I had just moved down to Cape Coral at that time, so no one really knew me unless they were in the plant world." And so he's like, "Okay, well, I just want to make sure. I'll just check your license. I'll let you go. I just want to make sure you weren't drinking." I'm like, "I understand you wanted to do that, but you didn't do it in the manner which was like legally, the legal way. Like I wasn't driving erratically. I'm sure if you check that body cam footage, I was driving perfectly fine." Anyway, he was kind of embarrassed, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Okay, so, anyways, back to Rica Vestiarias. You guys are about to see something nice in a second, but yes, they don't do really that well here. They like to have humidity almost all the time. I grew one in Venice for about 5 years. The 2010 cold killed it. There's different varieties. You have the red crown shaft, yellow crown shaft, orange crown shaft. Make sure I go on the right road here. And then you have the red crown shaft, red new leaf variety. So it's definitely a solid zone 10 plant. I'd say it's 10B. You see them grow really well on in Hawaii, in the tropics, but I don't really, besides maybe like the Keys, they really just don't do that well. So check this out, and then I will get back to the comments in a second. You're gonna see a bunch of, I'm gonna go real slow and then make a turn around here, but you're gonna see some palms, and let's see if you can recognize any of them. Oh, there's some sushi right there. Well, these are palmettos. I'll tell you when to take a look. Okay, right about now, start looking to your left. This is one property here. So that's going to be our first pass. Fortunately, it's not daytime. I don't really come through here in the daytime, so... Does anyone recognize any of those palms? It's probably kind of hard at nighttime. San Edmundo. Let's see here. Oh, you're from Miami, BL. Okay. Welcome from Miami. I used to live in Pinecrest. Right at the corner of 67th at Ludlam and Kendall Drive. So we'll come back, we'll make another pass around here. Oh, foggy. And see on the right hand side now, you can see some Sadakentia, some Keniopsis, then Sadakentia. It's hard to see much else beyond that, but those are all Sadakentias, real nice. Hurricanes. Alright, I figured I'd show you guys some palms on this trip. Yeah, there's some Kentiopsis at the far end, and Sadakentia in the near end, so... Yeah, it's hard to tell even for, you know, which ones are which even in the dark here, but I figured you guys could... Anyway. Yeah, there's a bunch of Dictyosperma. Nice eye there. So you have a couple orange forms, okay? They don't look ill, they just don't seem to grow. In the wintertime, BL, they are not going to grow really at all. They really like, you know, 85 to 90 degree weather every day and lows around the 70. And I know even in Miami now, you're not, you know, I know you guys are kind of chilly. God, it's 49 here already. What a cold spot. Watch, we go to Cape Coral, it's going to be at least 4 degrees warmer than that. It's chilly outside. Any experience with bougainvillea growing near a palm? Yeah, I actually, if I have bougainvillea growing near anything that I want to grow, I actually just dig it up and throw it away. I really don't like bougainvilleas. They're very pretty, but when you have to maintain them, the thorns are very unforgiving. So, yeah, BL, I didn't have like a house or anything. I had an apartment there right at 68th Ave in Kendall. I worked for Fairchild, so yes, I did. I met the curator there. When I worked at Fairchild, I was a nursery manager there, and he would come over a lot, and then we'd go over there, and then, you know, we'd go over and see Montgomery. So, but yeah, Pinecrest Gardens has some really cool palms. It's been a while since I've been there, but one of my clients owned two or three houses in Pinecrest, so he would just grow stuff. And he's like, "Oh, come look at what's growing in my backyard," and just then like some random person would come out, and I'm like, "Oh, who's that?" He's like, "Oh, that's just my." Let's just say he's a very wealthy individual who basically bought houses for like, I don't know, 15 of his relatives. So, right here, this road is the dividing line between Charlotte and Lee County. Yeah, I don't know what kind of orchid that is, but I think I know what you're talking about. You sure? You sure that they were orchids though? I just I don't know. It's been what? When did we go to Epcot? 2015? Yeah, a little over 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Went there for my 34th birthday. So that was 3 years ago. So the right hand side is Lee County, the left hand side is Charlotte County. The right hand side's a pretty nice neighborhood. It's gated. I mean, it's nice in the sense that it has nice. It's upscale living, I guess you could call it, but there's nowhere to plant any palms, so I don't consider it upscale. To me, it'd be like that. I don't like apartments. I understand people live in cities have to live in apartments. That's totally understandable, but I don't like living in a box. I just don't think I could ever do it again. Nice Bismarckian there. There goes some more sushi. Okay. Okay, it's in the rainforest section next to Mexico. I'll check it out next time I'm there. Yeah, Bismarcks are actually really hardy. I've got a friend south of Tallahassee that's growing one. And it does burn once in a, kind of every year it gets a little bit burnt, but they grow in Jacksonville. I've actually seen one in Savannah. It's a little bit on the, that's very borderline. It's a solid zone 9 palm for sure. The silver variety. The green variety is a solid zone 10. It is not, at 32 degrees it will burn, and it's kind of an ugly plant too. No offense to it. Oh, you have membership to Fairchild. Yeah, it's nice. I enjoyed working there with the people that were very passionate about plants, but the problem is that they're geared more towards making money now. And what I thought I was going to be doing there and what I was actually doing were two different things. So I decided to go ahead and leave because I wasn't going to be concerned about. The nursery should be in charge of taking care of palms that are not currently in the garden, but maybe have are sick or they're new, but they were caring more about the sale plans, and that's not what a nonprofit organization should be doing. I could go on about that. I probably will at some point. Oh wow! So pink flowers. It might have been a bougainvillea. Are you sure it wasn't a bougainvillea? I mean, I know it's hard. Yeah, the apartments are not for palm people. I mean, I've lived in apartments before. I lived in an apartment as late as 2014. So. The big kapok tree, yeah, those are nice. They're pretty good plants for Florida. They're not very hurricane hardy, but other than that, I mean, they're not like this huge thing that's going to come down, but their branches break off when they regrow, so it isn't that big of a deal. I mean, I wouldn't want a kapok tree flying around in the wind in a hurricane because it's basically going to stick you. It's like a spiked bat. So. I can't believe it hasn't even been just an hour now. I've been streaming because we took the interstate. All right, we're in the edge of Cape Coral now. Okay, yeah. Send me some pictures, Brian. Kapok's gonna have different colored flowers. There's a pink, there's white, I think there's a yellow, and there's kind of like a mixture too. I'm sure they hybridize. I think the kapok trees are technically in the succulent family. I'm not positive about that though. It hasn't been. Yeah, there's some really. When I was at Fairchild, the things that wowed me the most, and I'm sure they're still there because they're hurricane hardy, and it's not what you would think. It's just the size of some of the plants. Like They have a Neovicia there that has like 20 feet of wood, and I would collect seed from it. The one thing cool about Fairchild was I could collect basically whatever seed I wanted, unless they were doing like a special test on a plant. Then I could do whatever I wanted. It was pretty cool. The coolest plants to me were like Adelaia crassuspatha, which is from Haiti. Looks very coconutty. It's the northernmost growing Adelaia, I believe. Could be wrong about that. Maybe Mexico has a further north one, but it's definitely out of its element all the way up there in Haiti. So the best pollens for screening in Florida, I would say the number one pollen for screening is Dipsis lutescens, the Eureka palm, followed by Caryotomitis, fishtail, clumping fishtails. They're probably the two best ones for screening. And if you live in a more cold sensitive area, I would lean towards the fishtail. I've seen them take, they're probably zone 9, where Eureka's more of a high 9B. So, have I successfully germinated Neovicia? Yes, but I got fresh seed from Fiji, from a farm there, and I probably got 30 out of 100 to germinate, and that's considered actually pretty good. They're very tough to germinate. They don't all germinate at the same time. A lot of them are just not good. It's a difficult plant to work with. I would say it's like a difficulty factor. Like if Sables were like a 1 as far as difficulty, and Bismarck's maybe a 2 or 3, and like Chamberonias and a couple other are like a 5. It's probably like an 8 as far as difficulty. It's definitely like you want to make sure it doesn't get too moldy, and you got to have some patience. Like some of them, they just don't germinate for a couple months. There's really no way to tell if the seed is good or not other than floating it. These guys, I'm doing almost 15 over the speed limit. I'm getting blasted away here. Shouldn't say that on live. But whatever. Is it free to go to Chapman Field? I don't think so. I don't think Chapman Field is free. I don't even know if it's public. But I could be wrong. Daryl, good. I'm curious what Fairchild looks like since Irma. No, Daryl, as soon as a palm turns the color that it needs to turn, if I say a palm seed turns a certain color before it drops, like Christmas palms turn red, foxtails turn red. They both have similar shaped seeds, obviously different sizes. Adenites are a little bit more elliptical, and foxtails a little more ovoid to round. But if they're turning they're like half red, you can if you want to pull one off a tree, or take the saw off the bract and get what's seems to be good. Keep it in a warm area. Let it ripen as much as let it sit in the fruit for a little while longer. Let that fruit just mature a little bit, and then the fruit should start to get soft. When it's soft, then clean it or peel it. Let it dry out. Whatever. Man, people with their brains.
Jeepers.
Right in my face. Makes me see spots trying to look at the. Okay. Yeah, I know, and I actually don't like calling it Eureka, but when I'm talking as much as I do, and I know a lot of people here know it as an Eureka, I probably should say Dipsis. I usually just say lutescens. So lutescens meaning lighting, or having bright. And it is, because it has that golden yellow color to it. That's its common name is the golden butterfly palm, even though no one ever calls it that. Did I pass Embers? No, that's north. Okay, no. I think I'm just going to take Pun Island to Chiquita. Too much stop and go for me. Alright. Lethal bronzing? Or you mean lethal yellowing? Yeah, BL. So yeah, I feel the same way as you do. Because I mean, Areca, it's confusing because Areca is a genus, and Dipsis and Arecas, the common, are actually Dipsis. So like if you start saying, "Hey, I got all these Arecas," to like a collector, they're gonna think you have an actual like Areca species, like beetle nuts, like Areca catechu or Areca triandra. But that's why I don't like using common names. So you kind of, when you're talking to someone about palms, make sure you guys are on the same page, because a lot of times people will ask me, "Oh, do you have like American oil palms?" And when people say that, it usually means Adelaide Cahoon, and sometimes it's not, because there's actually an American oil palm called Elaeus oleifera, which is kind of ugly and doesn't really do well here, but people do ask about it. So, man, my throat is like getting raspy. There we go. That is the kind of timing I like. Right. Okay. Is Adnidia or Vicia Merlia? I believe it went from Adnidia to Vicia and then back to Adnidia. You know, as far as I'm concerned, that's one of the things that when you say Christmas, everyone knows what you're talking about. Some common names are more used by palm people than others. Like when you're talking about bottles and spindles, almost everybody says bottles and spindles. Just a lot easier than saying Hyophorbe legenicalis. I'd rather say bottle, because everyone knows a bottle. Oh, we were talking about, yeah. All right, so I call it the palmetto blight. Lethal bronzing is probably just another term for it, but yes, it is a problem in like up basically between like Tampa, and I've seen it as far south as Sarasota. I think I might have find a few incidents of it actually down around here, but it's some kind of virus that comes and affects the leaves. It just kills the palm. It's kind of like unknown what's going on there at the moment. So, do they allow seed collecting at Fairchild? Officially, no. But if you find seed and have somewhere to put it that they won't see it, then pick it up, because otherwise they're just going to mow it over. They don't collect anything anymore. Everybody picks up seed there. I'm not encouraging it. I'm just letting you know like what normally is done. I wouldn't try and pick up like Borassus seed and put it in a backpack or anything. Like I wouldn't try and pick up coconuts, but smaller seeds, give it a whirl. Worst thing that can happen is they tell you no. It's better to ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission, as I always like to say. Although I wouldn't ask for forgiveness from Fairchild anyway. I probably would just continue collecting, but that's me. I mean, I hate to say that. I have a couple. I know a couple people that work there that are very intelligent, very well versed. I like call them plantsmen, which is like kind of a term of endearment for people in the plant world. Some Australian pine here, right? Someone planted it here like 30, 40 years ago, and it just escaped. Yeah, it's that. So Dylan, that lethal bronze you're talking about is it must be what they've given the name of that palmetto blight, which has been around for like 6 or 7 years and really been affecting palms in West Central Florida. So, no, they don't have double coconut. There are no double coconuts anywhere in the continental U.S. that are at flowering size. The largest ones I've ever seen. The largest one I've ever seen, you guys won't believe this, was actually in Tampa. But I can tell you all about it because it's not there anymore. The house is not even there, but there is a gentleman by the name of Dr. U.A. Young, Ulysses A. Young. He was a medical doctor, one of the original members of the Palm Society back in 1958. He bought a house in Tampa. He actually bought 7 lots. Man, my throat. And he knew that he collected a double coconut seed on his travels to the Seychelles, which back in the 60s was like a big deal, you know. But he went there and came back. He realized it was not going to grow in Tampa outside. So he built an atrium in his house just for it. So it was in the middle of his house. So they had no way when he passed away and his sons didn't know what to do with the place. They I don't know if someone tried to transplant it, but I've seen them successfully transplanted before though. But it was not really meant to be long term. The leaves were very stretched out, but it was big. It was like 25-foot leaves with no trunk. The cold does affect them. They're very cold. They're definitely like a solid 10B. Had a pretty encephalitis of Fairchild. Orange cone in the center. Okay, so that was probably Encephalitis diarrheanus. It was at a really big, like a ton of heads on it. Yeah, it is. It's like the story about Yue Young. Yeah, he was. You know, I never got to meet him. He passed away before I moved to Florida, or right when I moved there. But his contemporaries, I got to know. A couple that lived in Sarasota, another lady that lived in Miami, and hearing stories about the Palm Society in the 50s and 60s. So double coconuts. I don't know if I don't think there are any at Pinecrest Gardens, but it's Lodoicea maldivica. It grows in the Seychelles Islands, and it is the largest seeded plant in the entire world. They've been known to get to over 20 kilograms, which is 44 pounds. I had planted one that was 33 pounds, and it looks like a butt cheek if you look it up. You should call it the butt cheek seed palm. I'm sure that would be a good seller. It does. Have I ever shown you a picture?
No.
Oh, I've got a picture of me holding one. Where is that picture? I think I have it on Facebook somewhere. It's in 2007. Someone brought one for auction, but it wasn't fertile. It was an empty seed. And I think it still went for $100. It had been polished and everything. It looked really nice. Red, blue. I would actually pick a red. I like the red the most. Latans are kind of rough because they're more susceptible to palmetto weevil and cool weather, but they do have a cool look about them. They're kind of like little mini Bismarcks. Like they could be planted around like a Bismarck, and like it's kind of like a chandelier of palms, if you will. Are double coconuts edible? I don't know, but if you want to spend $1,000 on one seed to find out, I mean, I assume that you can eat them, but you have to crack a nut it's the largest seed in the world. I don't know anyone who's ever tried to eat them. I think that the natives might have eaten them before they became so valuable. Okay. If I do go inside, though,
No.
Huh? No? Alright. I'll actually say no. We are almost home, too, which is unfortunate. Oh, we got home in an hour and 15, and we even stopped at that. So it would have been like an hour and 10 at the most. I know I made it from my mom's to here, I think 56 minutes one time. Yeah, so the cycads, I'll tell you this, the cycads at Fairchild, there's cycad circle, and there's one cycad in there that I would imagine has a value of somewhere around $500,000-$600,000. If not, that's probably a conservative estimate. It probably, to the right buyer, would go for over $1 million, but they would never sell it. Although they would try and pup it, and I know there's a couple people that quote help out at Fairchild in order that they would get the opportunity to try and take some of the plants from there. So you know, sometimes when you kind of lose, when the collectors kind of lose interest, they kind of, you know, you kind of get the bottom feeders come in and try and act like they're helping when they're not. So it's 50. It was 49 back there when we were at drove by those palms. It's 54 here now, just to show you, you know, how different. No change in elevation, no real difference. In fact, that's closer to the water than this is. So that's a 5-degree difference. It's pretty substantial there. So I want to bring them inside.
No.
What if I just only show them like the seeds? All right, I'm gonna have to do it for a vlog. I'm sorry, guys.
Because you'll never get off. And I want to watch MasterChef.
She wants to watch MasterChef. I mean, I do too. I'm probably talk for a few more minutes though, because I kind of threw this on them like that I was leaving. I don't want to just hit and run here. So I'm gonna be out here for a few more minutes, but I won't go inside. All right. Ooh. So I will do a vlog on it though. Our house is needing an update. You can see here that the garage needs a painting.
What key?
The one that says Defiant on it. There you go. It's warm in here. I have you guys can see that? Oh no, I showed you guys the seedlings, yeah? No? Alright, maybe I'll just come outside for a little bit and I'm gonna throw this thing on the tripod so I can alright, so it's gonna get a little wobbly for a second or two.
Here are matches for Kong.
What? What have you been looking at?
King Kong's dick.
What? It's kind of like out of place, but
That's what it said.
well, what are you talking about? Why would you? How did that come up?
I have no idea. I hit Siri.
That's really weird. Okay. Let's see what else we might need here. I just gotta make sure that I have everything. Can you take this inside? All right.
Sure.
Yeah, you can. It's not that big. Yeah, so something. Can you take my vape liquid inside?
I'm not even going in right
Okay,
now.
fine. All right. Oh, it's not warm out.
No, it's not.
Sorry, I'm trying to collect my things. Do not. Okay. Here, I'm gonna throw on enable flash. There we go. Man, that's some dirty windows. What happened here? Oh, this car's filthy too. This is all rigged up. All right. So.
You showed them the other night.
Yeah, but I don't think that these were outside. Were they? Let's see what's going on here. So you can see where the rat got into a couple of these, or a rat, which is now dead. It's no longer with us. This is Copernicia ekmanii right here. So I'm just looking for new growth. These were all eaten, but yet, let's see here. There's a couple that were coming up because they were remote germinators. So even though they took the seed, the bulb had already formed. And I'm trying to find. There's a couple. I have about 15 or 16 of them. This is Pseudophoenix vinifera. So, um, and look at that. Look at that fine two-tone brown and 80s green. All right. So this is my coconut that I'm pretty sure is actually dying of lethal yellowing. Okay, well, it's your coconut. It was here when I first met Ashley, but it was like this thing is like 4 years old, and this is how big it is. It really should be like at least twice this size, and I'm pretty sure that it's dying of lethal yellowing because this is what it looks like. Because I don't know what else it would be dying of. One time when we were gone, Ashley's parents were so nice as to trim up our lawn, and I had a Mauritia flexuosa right here, and it's trying to grow back. It was
Oh, I did that.
You did this?
Yeah, on accident with the weed whacker.
We're gonna have to talk about that later.
You knew that.
No, you told me that Frank did it. Okay. There's actually a Coparetia macroglossa over there that I water, and this is my hose that I'd run around. I learned the hard way that city water is not cheap. I have no idea what strain of coconut. My best guess is a yellow Maypan. It was looking so much better. I mean, the summer after the summertime, it just went downhill, and I mean, it's been getting water. I spray water on it probably 3 times a week. You can see it's stunted. It has a little bit of a stunted trunk, and it really wanted to grow like on the ground. The roots are kind of holding it in. I was gonna dig it up and put it elsewhere because it does get swampy here, but I was expecting it to die during during the wetter months, but it seems to have just. But I haven't like trimmed anything. This is all needs to be sprayed for weeds, and obviously the grass is not irrigated because I don't bother putting any money in the grass because it's just I'd rather put it in the palms. So it's chilly out here. Some coconuts that I collected from an island that are nothing's probably going to happen to them, but hey, did you get your sushi? No. You probably should. Okay. This is someone who came nice to trim up our plant, kind of weed whack this Caryotomitis. It's just a big bush now, but that's okay. I really wasn't too. These things kind of just grow back and look normal. We have some hanging bromeliads here. I don't know how that hasn't fallen out of the pot, but and some up there. No, you can't. Some very bad things will happen if you squirt me with the hose. So anyway, I think that's pretty much all I can show you guys tonight. It's pretty chilly out, and this is looking pretty rugged. You can see this needs a good trimming here. So I'm gonna let you guys go, and I will see you guys. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I will see you next vlog or next live stream. So until then, sure thing, Chris.